Okay, guys, so welcome to, I'm gonna hit record. Welcome to the Q&A session for the Next Level Mastermind for this week. I'm gonna just kind of pick up right where we left off yesterday. Yesterday we did a session about generating new construction leads, a new construction growth system. And I thought I was logged into KV Core, but it just reverted me back. That was mean. But what we did yesterday, and I'll show you guys this again for those of you who missed it, we ran some ads for a new construction list, and I started getting leads like right away.
It was like within a half hour, 15 minutes, I think, wasn't it, that you showed me?
Yep. And, I didn't follow up with any of them.
Yet.
This is how we do. I transferred them to somebody. But you can see here, what was it? It was 1, 2, 3, which isn't bad really for the first day. And then I'll show you guys here. Potentially, maybe it wasn't great, but they started coming in right away and then it slowed down. But I'll show you the ads that we ran. And remember, what we did was we ran a Google and a Facebook ad, but we didn't use a Facebook lead form. So I think one of the next things I'm going to do is I'm going to add a lead form to that funnel and kind of compare the results.
Nice.
So let's just go into the campaigns. I'm a little off my game this week, Annalise. Usually I'm more prepared, but it's been like meetings for others, something else. Let's see. So this generated, yeah, this is pretty cool. So look at the new construction ad right here, driving from a Google click. And this is exactly what I thought might happen. So St. Pete new construction, I'll show you guys the ad in a minute. 13 clicks, $1.59 a click, total cost $20, 3 leads for $6.87 a lead. Now this is somebody, remember, who was searching on Google for this small handful of keywords right here. They're very short tail keywords with exact match, right? You see I have the bracket around the side of each, right? So these people had to search exactly this thing. And they liked the ad that offered, instead of offering just search for properties generic, right, which is what most people are doing, this ad was more niched down. It says St. Pete, Florida, new construction, hundreds of homes and condos priced from the low 200s, right? And then they click through, just to remind everybody who wasn't on live, and I'll just show you the landing page they landed on. And we did roughly a 25% conversion rate. You know, one day is not enough really to gauge, but they landed on this page, which kind of echoed the ad, and we got 3 opt-ins. Again, super early, but cool either way. I'm going to look here and see how many phone numbers. So 1 out of 3 gave a phone number. Okay. So, you know, the advantage here, of course, with Google is that it is somebody who was actively searching. So in theory, this person should be closer toward actually making a move, or it's hotter on their mind than the Facebook ads are. So if I go look at a Facebook ad, the Facebook ad for this, which by the way, didn't create any leads because I know that I got all 3 from Google, right?
Right.
So, and this is fairly typical. This is a big takeaway and a learning from this, guys. And as I said, I kind of expected this might happen. This is Facebook on the same offer, 37 clicks, 30 cents a click, $11.22, 0 leads. And we get this a lot. We hear from people, hey, I ran a Facebook ad to a squeeze link or to a landing page and got very bad results. And I'll tell you, it just happens over and over again. For whatever reason, when somebody comes off of Facebook and they're in Facebook's environment, it's hard to get them to fill in a form unless you're really good. So I'll eventually get leads here, and they should, you know, it'll start to work. And I think part of the reason is there's very little intent. This person who's seeing this ad wasn't thinking about buying a house a few minutes ago. And then when they get to the landing page, they're asked to give a phone number and all this other stuff, right? Whereas on Google, there's a lot higher intent. So my advice, my key learning from this is Google clicks to a landing page works. I already kind of knew this. Or to a squeeze link works. We know we do 10% all day to squeeze links, thousands and thousands of leads a month through our services here at KV Core, you know, our done for you services. That works. Facebook clicks to squeeze and landing pages, not so great. But man, oh man, if you do Facebook lead forms to the same exact offers, such as the waterfront offer right here, right? So I'll show you the numbers on this, the one we did, I think 2 weeks, it's been going on for 2 weeks now, Waterfront, 238 leads and $1.78 a lead. So a lead here is costing the same that it costs for a click on Google. And remember, we're getting name, email, phone number. So I hope that's useful, guys. Do you want to comment? Just let me know. Is that useful to know? I think it's pretty useful because it might save you some time and frustration. Not to say that it doesn't make sense to drive traffic clicks from Facebook. Just be prepared for a lower opt-in rate. I really love what we're doing here. Facebook clicks in a retargeting campaign works really well, right? Because we're not so concerned about the lead right there. We're concerned about re-engagement, and we can get this cheap 60-cent click back to our site.
And Dan has a great question. So when you say lead form versus squeeze page, you're differentiating that we're using the squeeze page within KV Core for actually the form, right? Or the landing page, instead of building an actual form within a lead form in Google or Facebook.
Yep. So that's exactly it. When you use Facebook's form and the person stays inside of Facebook's ecosystem, it works awesome. When you make them leave Facebook, I don't know. and it can still work. It's just, I think our particular setup, our environment, which we don't have a lot of control over, a KV Core landing page and a KV Core squeeze link, for whatever reason, that traffic doesn't love those pages for opt-ins. So now I may go test this with a third-party landing page software, but I don't see a big need to, knowing that I can just go run lead form ads all day. And I think that's a really good skill to know right now, how to run those leads. Go ahead.
Sorry. And just to clarify, someone said, so Facebook lead forms tend to get more information to fully populate, right? So they're going to pull from whatever information that person has put into their profile. Of course, if they're like on it and they're like, no, you can't have my phone number. Of course, there's going to be people that may be hyper aware of that, but odds are probably not. So it's just going to flow that information right into the registration.
Yeah. Oh, can I show you guys something else?
Of course.
Cool. Look, remember about a week ago, we split up the campaign and we did people who are traveling in versus people who lived in. So I got.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So people living in. It's just interesting. The people who already live here have been more expensive. So roughly 50% more expensive. Just eyeballing that, that's about a 50% difference in the price per lead. So I don't know if there's much to learn from that. There's probably an advantage to having a blend of both, because the people who already live here, can interact with you quicker, but they're also likely going to have a realtor they already know. Whereas these people who are traveling in are cheaper leads, but they're not already here, so they're probably less likely to do a move soon,
Right.
So.
And, while we're here, I know there's a few people that are new to the Mastermind, Next Level Mastermind. Would you be able to show everyone where they can access that growth systems?
Yeah. So if you come into the Mastermind room, when you first click in from KV Core, you'll get to this page that looks like this. And you can see all the latest stuff we're posting. And then right up here, there's actually two places you can get to it. If you go to the Start Here post, I've got quick links to all the different sections. So you can actually go straight in. Right?
Awesome.
Or you can go up here to the dashboard. You click Go to Dashboard, and then everything's right here. And this is where I think you should start here. People who are just getting going. Just check out this growth system builder. Maybe watch the intro webinar about that flow, and then you can see these specific systems I'm kind of putting down here toward the bottom. So the waterfront homes one I'm referencing, all the steps that we're put into building that are right here.
And then that's where people will find information on different types of lead forms they can use for different types of elements they want to grab for, like information, right? Different grabs of data for whatever your niche is, right?
Yeah. So running the Facebook ad is right here. This video shows you how to create those forms. I'll just mention, people try to get fancy and ask for all kinds of info in those forms. Best practice is just name, email, first name, last name, email, phone number. When your lead costs can go way up if you try to ask for more than that, but you're welcome to test it. But yeah, so that's working well. So what I'll go do now is I'll go build a version of this new construction ad that uses the lead form. It'll be the same exact ad, but it'll just use a form instead.
Nice.
Because the clicks are great. Look, 27 cents a click is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
People are interested. They're getting to the page and something's not cool. And I've told our team this over and over. I think what it is let's go look at it. I despise this cell phone
The
thing. Like
optional,
I
yeah, it
want
turns people off a little bit.
I want the ability to just remove that totally as a toggle.
So it only comes on if somebody checks they want to include the phone number, maybe. That would be
Right.
good.
Like you
Yeah.
could choose optional, required, or turn it
Yep.
off. This feels too serious, especially for somebody who has low intent coming off Facebook. This is getting heavy.
Right.
Here it's like, all right, take my email. But this is like a cell number. And the reason the Facebook form works is because it's pre-filled, and honestly, most people don't even know it's there. Which plays into how you need to follow up on those leads. You know, you need to assume that there's not high intent, and you need to be casual about it. Cool. Is there anything? So that's kind of what I had today. Just kind of an update on that. Is there anything anybody wants to discuss today? That's what this session is for. Just kind of open Q&A.
I haven't seen any questions come in quite yet. I did kind of find something fun you can do on the draw on map yesterday that I think maybe isn't quite as widely known.
Okay.
You know, when you draw on the map, you can draw those little dots and make shapes and so forth. But you can actually stretch those out if you don't encompass the whole area you meant to the first time. And this will work on the system here, like on the front side for your contacts, or when you're on your dashboard within like your squeeze page, like a multi-property squeeze page, listing alerts and hashtag listing alerts.
So what are you referring to? So I'm drawing something here.
Yeah, I was using the dashboard yesterday, but this one doesn't have as many contact points really to pull. So if we jump into like either alerts or squeeze pages or what have you.
Like right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Drawing map.
Yeah, this is really cool because you can actually put in an address or a city up in that search initially to get like your general area. So if someone's like, I need to be within 10 miles of this area, you know, this place, like maybe it's from their work or something, you know, you can then draw an area. And what's cool about this is when you draw it, you should see little dots. See the little dots in the middle of each line, like halfway over. Yeah, you can pull them out, or yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Then if you're like, hey, I need to get all the way down to what's that city right below to the left? Yeah, so you can actually pull those down, and you can use your zoom in, zoom out to get a bigger map area, so you can continue pulling the strings on that search, which is pretty neat.
That is very cool.
Yeah. So you can get pretty specialized on what area you want to focus on for specific listings or alerts.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I just had to do some fair housing training, and I'm very happy to see that this is a black line, not a red line.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
real estate geek joke. Sorry.
Well,
somebody's laughing.
It's a good point, though. There's a book called The Color of Law that I would imagine I would like highly recommend everyone to look up, because it is phenomenal and an eye opener of our fair housing practices in the States.
Yeah. So great. That's a good one, Annalisa. Anybody else have anything, or we can kind of just go? I might just have Annalisa do more of Annalisa's tips and tricks, because she's got 100 of them. And by the way,
nothing up my sleeves.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them in the
in the Mastermind.
Yeah, yes. There's a whole section in the Mastermind for Annalisa's tips and tricks. They're called.
It's right there. Yeah, I need to get a different picture in there.
Tips and hacks. Sorry for the dogs.
That happens. Life happens with them. So what I did here is we have this whole section that's kind of broken down into areas within the KV Core dashboard. So you can pop into the Smart CRM section. You can pop into the contact profile. You can pop into lead engine, bulk import, and so forth. So this is where you can kind of learn some of the little ins and outs and different ways you can use the tools within KV Core. Yeah,
this is a great, it's a growing library of stuff. And I would say that if you're just getting started with KV Core, this is a good place to go and just kind of get immersion. Don't worry so much about, using the things, but go in once a day and check one out, right?
Yeah, that way they're familiar with you, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do squeeze pages for the rest of the month for March, and the next month I am going to incorporate hashtag triggers. You can kind of take it in stages and goals.
Yeah. So Question here is, are there Facebook campaigns you run to continuously generate leads, and how much do you spend on those per day? So this growth system method with the niche focused ads is the playbook, so to speak. So, that's what you spend is up to you, and what you can stomach. But usually if you want 1 or 2 leads a day, $5 to $10 a day should get you very far. If you want to scale and you have a whole team, you could spend 50 to 100 a day in most markets and not even, come close to spending what's available. So the combination here is these niche leads in Facebook, and then a couple of Google campaigns that generate higher intent, and that they're, having a blend of those two is probably a good way to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Thomas is asking, hey, can we look at the embeds in Web and IDX? So let's jump into the KV Core dashboard. And this is all within the Web and IDX, which I think is like the 5th or 6th option. Maybe it's the 7th, I don't know. But it's down that left-hand side of the dashboard. And there's an embed tab at the top up there. And there are all sorts of goodies in here, which you should be aware of. There are QR codes that you can use for your website, as well as particular listings. So how would you use these? You could have a QR code on any type of digital media. You could have a QR code on an Instagram ad, right? You could have a QR code on a Craigslist ad. You could have a QR code on a flyer. How would you use a QR code, Ryan?
Yeah, all different ways. I mean, this particular, if you wanted to send postcards or put, say, a rider on your signs for a specific listing, this would be really useful right here. So scan code for more details, and then you put the MLS number in here, I think, right?
Yes. Dan's asking, can I have a QR code on my dating profile? I mean, it could be like the Bachelor kind of thing, but will you accept this house? Maybe? And have them have like a 5 keys? Don't tell my wife. I know nothing.
Scan QR for details, for deets. I got to change my Tinder profile pic. I don't have.
And then right below the QR codes, there's these property search and website widgets and seller valuation widgets. These are super handy for you to use if you have a website outside of KV Core. If you have access to the HTML to edit your site, your other site, you can actually add these frames in there, and people can use the search and be directed to your KV Core website. Yeah, so it's a nice passive way to send people your way as well.
Yeah, we have the WordPress plugin available but it's like something like $60 a month, which for some people makes sense. But if you just have a third-party site and you want to integrate it with KV Core, it's just a really clean way to do it. I'll show you kind of what that looks like. How many people listening have WordPress? I'm just curious.
And we can also weren't we kind of experimenting with putting those in the headers and footers, and you can add these to blogs, you can add these to custom pages. Yeah. There's all sorts of opportunities for you to use those.
Yeah, let's talk about the footer example, because I thought that was interesting. So let's take the
valuation one or the long search.
We'll take the long one first.
Perfect. So what we're talking about now is the footer at the very bottom of your main landing page of your website, and where you can edit information and add it in, so it just lands there every time it's opened.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go into what, Web and IDX?
Yeah, Web and IDX.
And then general, or where's that at?
So we're going to go to edit settings, and then we're actually going to go down to custom footer.
Yeah.
Save. Open a new incognito window here. Let's see. And you can see it's kind of showing up down there.
And you've got your valuation in there too, which is great.
Yeah, and then I also, check your home's value now. Is at the bottom of every page now too, with a get value. And the way I got that is just this one right here, seller valuation. So
yeah, those are handy tools.
For sure. And you can actually build your own seller landing pages if you're using third-party tools, or you know how to build a website. You could just drop this in the middle of it.
Yeah.
and control the flow. And this will just take you back through the regular registration flow.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
We've got a question on YouTube. Hi, Andrew. Constantly using Property Boost for my listings. How about generating seller leads? Thank you in advance. So to me, I would think with Property Boost, you're generating a future seller lead, which is fantastic. We just need to kind of look at it from a different approach, maybe.
Yeah. What if I told you, I'm thinking of that meme with Neo from the Matrix.
All right. What if I told you the red blue or the blue blue?
What if I told you those Property Boost leads are seller leads?
Oh.
So, guys, half of those people opting in are going to be homeowners in your market.
Yep.
So talk to them about real estate.
And I think,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say what you could also do if there are people that are homeowners and they're not ready to sell. I mean, you can always think about keeping in line with them, maybe talking about refi, and then, being their agent when they're ready to sell, those types of things. So there's different ways you can approach that too.
Yeah. So that's the first part of the answer. More directly, we are working on a direct home valuation funnel to get people opting in for a home valuation. Facebook threw us a curveball. They got rid of addresses and lead forms. So we're kind of reinventing that, but it should be ready in the next few weeks.
Pivot.
Huh?
It's all about pivoting.
Yeah. But seriously, these waterfront leads that we're running local that I showed you guys a minute ago,
mm-hmm.
The conversations you have with these people could quickly turn to listing conversations.
Yeah.
So that just always have to remind of that. I was going to use the meme generator here. I want to see if my Neo was in there.
And that's what IMG flip.
Yeah, image flip. We've talked about this. I think we have some stuff. There we go. What if I told you? Property Boost leads are seller leads. I need to underline that. By the way, guys, we've talked a bit about this. These are great for social posts, right? Mm-hmm. What if I told you? What's a good one we could do for real estate? What if I told you?
There is no spoon, but there are keys.
Real estate is in a crack up boom. You can kind of talk in code in these. You guys can Google crack up boom. Basically means it's just going to go higher and higher and higher.
Mm-hmm.
But memes like this where you talk in code and you post to social, you'll attract somebody who knows what crack up boom means. Probably somebody who's in the macroeconomics and the Austrian school. It'll make an impression. But you can do this in any number of different ways, right? You just talk about things that are relevant to you in your memes. So I'll take this. See what I did here? I'm not even logged in. I do have a premium account of this, but I'm going to cheat and just screenshot it instead of paying for the premium to remove.
That's how it works. It's appropriating.
They have like a premium. I'm surprised it's not watermarked. And then,
this will probably be what breaks them. Look at that Hartman. Ugh.
Yeah. And then I'll just post this like this. PM for a complete list of my favorite Pinellas County opportunities right now. Now you could link this over to your KV Core site. I've been playing around with the idea of just having people PM.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could just link to a squeeze link. But I don't actually want people to talk to me about real estate, so I'll just post that for fun. Okay. All right. All right. Now I'm going to get all my wacko. Now I'm anticipating who's going to reply to this, and I'm regretting posting it. All right. All right. We had a lot of questions here. So there's one that says, I ran 2 just listed campaigns last week. One spent 20 per day and the other spent 10 per day. The number of leads was much higher on the 20-day campaign. It seems nonlinear. Yes. Very good question. And yes, Facebook likes more input, like Johnny 5 input, meaning they like bigger budgets and they reward bigger budgets. So, like if I was spending 100 a day on this waterfront, I bet this cost per lead would be 20, 30, 50% cheaper. So Really good question, though. And if you can afford to do it, there may be some advantages in running those ads, more but less days of the month. And you're going to quickly learn that some days of the month just seem to not perform. In my experience, like Friday afternoons are just duds. So maybe you do $20 a day on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, maybe Sunday, but you leave it off the other days, to make up to blend out your budget. Yeah.
How about looking at Instagram ads in Facebook Ad Manager? Have you created any of those?
Yeah. So somebody asked if we've ever run Instagram. Well,
yeah,
all of these ads are actually running on Instagram.
Because you can choose to connect it to Instagram or not when you're doing your ad setup, right?
Yep. Facebook actually by default turns the Instagram placement on.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yep. And then if you want to change that, you can go right here where it says placements in your ad set. Click manual placements, and you can uncheck Instagram, uncheck Facebook. So if you want to do only Instagram, just check off Instagram only.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And you can attach your Instagram account. I think you do that from your main Facebook business settings. You can probably
yeah. I've got a video out there on it somewhere, but I need to make sure it's current.
Yeah. Cool. Just looking at some of these. Yeah, good questions, guys. Yeah, those embeds are most useful on third-party sites. There's a question about how to use them, but if you have a third-party website or blog. Yeah.
There's a tool that I kind of go over in every one of my setup service calls that I have with people, and it's really handy that a lot of people don't really know exists. And if you can access this on any listing or on your activity stream, but when you use it on your dashboard, you can go into listings. Oh wait, are you going to go build something?
No, I just got an idea. I'll leave that up here and then talk about it after. Okay, so go to the listings.
Yeah, you go to either go to listings, or if you're on your dashboard on your activity stream and you see somebody looked at a listing and you're going to give them a call, you can click on any of these images. So open up one of the properties. And of course, we're pulling all of this from the MLS that you're connected to. However, it's super important to be aware of the nearby listings and the similar listings.
Oh, yeah.
When you're talking with someone or preparing to speak with them or send them properties they may not have seen yet that are similar or nearby, this is super handy and it's at your fingertips. So similar is basically saying, okay, Buckingham Garden Drive, its amenities, this home is similar to all of these homes right here.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this is you can actually click on the top left box to choose all of the properties. And then you can click on more actions and add to saved.
Huh.
Now, when you use this, it's going to create a link to all of those listings. And of course, you'll have to put the lead's name in there to be able to send it.
Okay.
And then there's 3 options where it says send comment. So the first one is no. That just means you're only saving these properties to that contact's timeline on your dashboard. If you choose text or email, it will save it and send it and keep a record of it on the timeline. So this can really lend your expertise if someone's like, hey, this place really didn't tick the boxes for me. What else is in the neighborhood? What else is similar? You have information right at your fingertips to send out. The nearby one will give you increments of how far away other listings are in that same neighborhood. So if they're like, hey, this is a great place, I like the neighborhood, didn't like Buckingham Garden Drive, what else is there in that neighborhood? Then you've got listings right at your fingertips. So it's a super way to utilize KV Core quickly. And what's neat about this is if you're working with a preferred lender in KV Core, you can show them this. So if they're talking with someone and something comes up, we're like, what do you think about this property? They actually have this at their fingertips on their lender dashboard as well.
Yeah, it's great. So you can send a hand-picked list of listings really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Just check off the ones that you think might be relevant to them and email it out.
Exactly. It's really neat.
Cool. I think you need to do a weekly Annalise's tips and tricks session separate.
That's fine with me. I mean, I think the thing about KV Core is a lot of people get maybe a little bit like, oh my gosh, it is a beast. But I think we just need to take it in chunks and then just keep feeding it leads to keep it happy in the meantime and learn it in little bites.
Yep. So somebody figured out the punchline of what I was doing here in the chat. I'm sorry I'm not seeing your name. I probably have to make it wider. Thomas. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with this. You can actually peel the URL out of the embed code and drive traffic straight to this, and it'll probably convert better than trying to build a fancy landing page.
Oh, cool.
So I might actually try this out. So on mobile, should look like, I don't know why that doesn't respond. That's silly. But yeah, if you run an ad that says, hey, check your value, well, there's zero clutter here. They're just going to put their address in and hit click value.
Simple.
Kind of cool. So the way that I did that was just go to the embeds. Web and IDX, I almost forgot. Web and IDX, and then embeds right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then go to the seller valuation widget and grab the middle part. This is an iframe. Just grab the link, the URL there. I wonder.
Within the quotations, right? Aren't there quotations there?
Yep. And then I wonder, I assume, I'm pretty sure we can just do the same thing if we wanted to drive traffic to our property search. So search for properties now. Just send somebody right there. And then,
short and simple.
Yeah. Huh. So, wow.
I mean, that could even be a quick text.
That is super intriguing, actually. You could
drop it in.
What happened if you drove a Facebook or a Google click right to this?
Pretty cool. Great idea.
Yeah. I don't know. Squeeze links might work better, but yeah, definitely a toy we can play with. What's going on in the Facebook group? Let's check it out. And then we can get going if there aren't too many other. My grandma shared my post.
Ah, nice. Thanks,
Thanks,
Grandma.
Grandma. She shares lots of my posts.
She's supportive. That's awesome.
Follow my grandma.
She'll be like,
go to my profile and say hi.
Who's this?
Yeah. Let's see here.
And I'll be like, Ryan and I go way back. I've known him for 6 years, but I've never met him in person.
Yeah. Oh, I probably haven't seen her in 6 years. That's not nice.
Cool.
All right. Nah, 3.
I know.
COVID times.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
And while you're looking there, Thomas is saying, hey, have we ever spoken about custom audiences? Yes. And that is covered in a few of the courses within the Next Level Mastermind, especially within that growth system.
Yep, for sure. We went pretty deep on that recently. There's a webinar all about 4 different ways to use growth systems. I'll show you where it is. See, it's in the growth system retargeting, how to create the 4 main types of Facebook retargeting audiences. Right there, Thomas. So that definitely check that one out. Facebook group. Okay. What's going on in here?
Oh, look, it's Thomas.
Oh, there you are, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, more property boost and you get listings. Just kidding.
Next.
It's tough.
No.
Everybody I'm talking to, people, I get this. A lot of people are asking about this. Guys, the reality just might be that people aren't selling right now. They just think about the overarching landscape and, the uncertainty in the markets, the fact that interest rates are going up. So if somebody's locked in with a fixed rate and it's super low, it might not be as attractive to move right now. I'm going to just about the sellers. I don't know. Are you guys thinking when I came into the industry in the late 1990s, the brokerage that I worked at was focused on property management, and what the broker taught me and told me there was that he did that as this market cycle shifted. He would shift to property management because he would end up with a lot of listings from the properties he was managing years when the cycle shifted. So I just wonder if anybody listening, are you guys thinking along those lines, rentals, property management? Because it might stay dry for a while. I don't know. There was a great interview with George Gammon and Jason Hartman, no relation, a couple days ago, I think, where Jason talked a little bit about that effect, the fact that maybe people aren't going to want to sell. because they're in these awesome fixed rate mortgages. I'll get you guys that link. I'll drop it in the Facebook group after the session. So yeah, just triggering me on a little thought there. I mean, property, I know nobody wants to do it. We'd rather have listings, but property management can lead. I saw it firsthand. He ended up with a lot of multifamily listings a few years after that, as the market shifted into the early 2000s, because those same people he already had relationships with, and then the market came back around and he could sell them, list their properties. What is the best way to generate leads? All different ways. This one about sending out texts, be careful about sending out 400 texts at a time. I think most people answered that, but try to keep it under 50, especially if the 400 people you send a text to don't know who you are. You risk the text being kind of viewed as spam by the carriers, and really it's not going to have a lot of relevance unless you're doing smaller batches.
And I think the key is to think about, that's why your hashtag groups really come in handy to send in particular information to particular groups that might help them in their decisions. Yeah, it's a really good point. So if you're going to send mass text, don't try to send mass, try to send targeted, segmented texts, and you'll have better results. This problem with rejected for discrimination on Facebook, got to remember the Facebook housing category. So I love this comment from Craig. Screw Facebook and not one client. Yeah, that's a common thing with Facebook. You need to know how to run the ads right, but you also need to be patient because the intent is so low. But I promise you, people are closing Facebook leads every day. Property Boost, our Facebook products, our growth systems that we're doing here, next level. Well, that's how Daniel answered it.
What's that?
Did it wrong. Dan, right below it. You just did it wrong. There's a method to the madness. And it is. I mean, really, it's a stay the course kind of situation. You have to let it roll instead of changing your game plan every day if something's not working an hour later.
Yep. Post from Lauren here on our team. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this, but you can print Avery mailing addresses now from KV.
5160s, yeah. And it happens in the new UI on the Smart CRM.
Very cool. Most successful ways to use KV Core, just use it. Just browsing through. Guys, remember to check out the Facebook group, insiderealestate.com/Facebook group. There's a lot of great conversations going on in here. I think a lot of the value, even for me, is just watching what other people say and are talking about. You learn, you pick up little tips and tricks here and there.
The perspectives are great.
Yeah. And just thank you for everybody who participates, who's watching this. So if we
that is a brand new article right there. The product update release notes. So Susan, who is one of our communication managers for product, she creates this page and so everyone can be updated on what's happening when, what's been released, etc. So she'll be having it indexed and adding in information throughout the year.
Very cool. So you know what's coming out. We'll make sure we post that in the group every few weeks or so.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I thought I'd gone through a whole day, but there's just so much content going on in here.
Oh, it's been busy.
Yeah. Cool. Well, if there aren't any more questions, I think we're good at a healthy 40 minutes. We can let everybody go, right?
I think so. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Yep. Tomorrow is a session, been messing with the schedule, and tomorrow's is an hour later. I'm specifically, we said last week, we're going to try to do a session a week that's kind of a new topic. We're going to do our growth systems. We'll do an open, but we're going to try to do like a focused kind of specific thing. And tomorrow, I think what we were going to do was driving leads with direct mail. This plays into the idea of farming and prospecting and generating seller leads. So it was a topic I wanted to get in here. So, but just watch out here. It says driving KV Core traffic and leads with direct mail. It's at 1 instead of 12. I had a
10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern.
Yeah, and to get the link for that, it's in the next level, or you can. Yeah, it's in the next level Mastermind, and we'll probably also stream that on YouTube as part of our experiment. So, thanks, guys.
Mike's like, thanks for the brainworm around the world, around the world.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to put on some Toro Noir or somebody to ride that.
We can put on Ballroom Blitz. That'll be a good one.
There you go. All right.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.